Back here at Pete Matthews Coliseum here at Jacksonville State University. It's the TV24 Holiday Showcase here, and we got a big Calhoun County matchup between the Alexandria Valley Cubs and the Oxford Yellow Jackets. Welcome in courtside alongside John Holder. I'm Chase Robinson, bringing this big matchup here to you between the Valley Cubs and the Oxford Yellow Jackets. When these two meet up, it's always a fun one, John.
And this is really a game that's kind of a surprise. I don't think most folks knew it was coming because it was not scheduled to be this way. The original matchup was supposed to be Oxford taking on 7A Grissom out of Huntsville. Because of travel conditions and so forth, they could not get here. Alexandria was supposed to play Ohatchee today. Originally scheduled to play Sachs, then Ohatchee. Now they're going to play Oxford. So this is the third different opponents that Alexandria was scheduled to have. The weather playing all kind of havoc, not only with cutting down the number of games here, but also cutting into the opponents. And also we even had a power outage earlier in our first game. But anytime Oxford and Alexandria play, particularly in basketball, because they don't play in football anymore and they play some in other sports, but in basketball it is a big rivalry, and this is going to be an intense game, maybe a preview of the Calhoun County basketball tournament. These are two good teams that could very well wind up at some point playing in the county tournament here in about a month or so.
And two good shooting teams. Just keeping up with these teams throughout the season, both really good shooting. We saw that from Oxford when they played in the Calhoun County Championship here last season, and when they played Parker in the region championship on this floor last season. Good shooting teams, a lot of those guys back.
Yeah, when we talk about size versus speed, it's going to be the size of Alexandria, maybe the biggest team on the front line of any team in this part of the state of Alabama. They're about 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" across the front. And then also you got that speed of Oxford. Eugene Leonard, great point guard. He's as quick as anybody in Alabama. So it's going to be I think a size versus speed matchup. Now, Oxford's got some big guys. I don't think anybody has that front line like Alexandria has.
Absolutely. Alexandria and Oxford here getting ready to tip off as we're getting ready to give the starting lineups here to start this game for the Oxford Yellow Jackets and the Alexandria Valley Cubs.
Yeah, look, yesterday we were talking about the snow. This is on the quad, just probably no more than a quarter mile away from here from the Coliseum. Look at this giant snowman that they're building in front of, I guess that's Bill Graves Hall, a huge snowman. This is what we had, the weather here in Jackson across all of Northeast Alabama yesterday, and that played obviously a lot of havoc with what we were trying to do here today with basketball, with the power outages, the travel problems and things like that. But we wound up with really a blessing in disguise because, as we said, we wind up with a matchup that I think gets everyone's attention around East Alabama. Chase, in basketball, anytime that Alexandria and Oxford play in basketball, it is intense. And to get a regular season matchup that's not in the county tournament between the Valley Cubs and the Yellow Jackets is pretty rare.
Absolutely. As we look at the starting lineups here for Oxford and Alexandria. For the Oxford Yellow Jackets, it's Marquise Davis, Rock Taylor, the freshman, the senior Kendrick Foster, junior Eugene Leonard, and senior Braden Mack. And for the Valley Cubs, Jake Wethington, Drew Davis, Dalton Dodd, Josh Tucker, and Landon Williams.
Oxford, the defending county champions, and we knew they were going to be good this year because they've got a lot of returnees coming back. They had a lot of underclassmen last year, and this is a pretty big Alexandria team. Their front line is going to go about 6'3", about 6'6", and about 6'7" on the inside with the Valley Cubs, and they've got some big guys sitting on the bench as well. So we'll see what happens here between the Valley Cubs and the Yellow Jackets.
And Alexandria will start off. Jake Wethington walking up the floor for the Valley Cubs. He crosses half court. Dodd up top to Davis. Over to Tucker. Davis inside, stolen away. There is Rock Taylor, who gets it out to Eugene Leonard. On the other end, three-pointer on the way, no good for DeMontre McClendon. McClendon was a starter, as well as Simeon Shadricks, both starting. They were not on the graphic, but they are starting. They will be on the floor. It'll be Alexandria's ball, the length of the floor to go here for the Valley Cubs.
Full court pressure defense by Oxford. Alexandria comes out of there with a big guy taking it the length of the floor and putting it up and in. What a great move that was. As Alexandria's number 21, Dalton Dodd, a commitment to UAH, takes it the length of the floor and lays it up and in for the first points for either team.
Shaddricks fires up the three this time, rims out. As three-pointer that time is good for Eugene Leonard. 3-2 lead now for the Jackets.
How many times have we seen Leonard do that, filling it up from three-point range?
Josh Tucker's shot no good on the other end for the Valley Cubs. And it's Leonard in it down low to Taylor, and the foul whistled there, and that will be.
Looks like they're going to call that on Landon Williams. Yes. Coming in from behind. There's Williams. And they could have called that on Dodd as well, but I think they did call that on Williams. Williams is a big guy on the inside. He's about 6'6" on the inside, and he is only a ninth grader, Chase.
First free throw rims out there for Rock Taylor. He'll have one more up ahead.
They'll also bring Jalen Borders in off the bench, 25. We'll look for him to get some significant playing time. A transfer from Sachs. He's about 6'6" on the inside as well.
Dodd pulls down the rebound, and he'll dribble it up the floor for the Valley Cubs. Over to Williams. To Davis up top. Davis drives in, tries to get it down to Williams, but it's going to go out.
Good defense by Eugene Leonard that time. Quick hands, knocks the ball out of bounds and prevents that interior pass, and it will be still Alexandria basketball. Good tight game here in the early going.
Davis into Wethington. Ball loose. Oxford gets it. There comes Leonard the other way to Shaddricks. Three on the way. Good.
Simeon Shaddricks, nice dish from Eugene Leonard, wide open, and Shaddricks nails it. And Oxford now with a couple of threes up to the 6-2 lead.
Wethington setting up for the Valley Cubs. He's going to drive in this time, off the glass, no good, and that is Braden Mack with the rebound, and he gets it to Leonard. Leonard drives, and Dalton Dodd just sticks his long arm out and takes the ball from him. He takes it the other end. Pump fake, the shot, no good. And Dalton Dodd will go to the free throw line now.
Great job by Dalton Dodd. There's your experienced senior. Did a great job of drawing the defender in, using his body, giving the head fake, draws the foul, goes up to shoot the free throws.
The first one no good there for Dodd.
Alexandria, of course, making a playoff run again this year in football. So they get off to a late start, 4-0 for the Valley Cubs. Oxford coming in 3-4, but again playing a very tough schedule. Coach Joel Van Meter playing all comers, Vestavia Hills and folks like that in the early going.
Leonard to Mack, over to Shaddricks. So Taylor back to Leonard. He fires up the three this time off the side of the iron, and Alexandria has it. Dalton Dodd dribbles it up for the Cubs. Corner to Wethington this time, back up to Dodd. Dodd to Davis. Inside to Williams. He turns around and puts it up and in.
Williams, the big freshman on the inside, with a nice turnaround jumper to cut the lead down to 2.
Shaddricks up to Mack. Mack fires up the three. Nothing, and Drew Davis has it now for the Valley Cubs. Dodd's going to walk it up the floor this time. Down by 2 is Alexandria. Halfway through first quarter. Dodd spots up for the three this time and buries it.
And you see why. He was a college prospect committed to the UAH Chargers. Anytime you've got a big 6'5" guy that can come on the outside and nail a three as easy as that, you can see why colleges want an athlete like that.
Shaddricks on the other end. Off the back of the iron, and Alexandria has it here with 4:05 left in the first quarter. Wethington setting up the offense for the Valley Cubs. foul that time on Shadricks.
Joseph Tucker, the sophomore, now into the game, replacing his older brother Joshua. Valley Cubs will make a couple of more changes, as again we're going to see Jalen Borders, the transfer from Sachs, coming in, seeing his first action. Also coming in, Romeo Dye. Folks remember his name from football season. Coming in to play now for the Valley Cubs.
Down low this time. Shot will go behind the backboard. That is Jalen Borders in the game for the Valley Cubs. Eugene Leonard gets it across half court now for the Yellow Jackets. Leonard to Foster. Three-pointer on the way is good from Eugene Leonard.
Romeo Dye coming across, trying to battle through a screen, fell down. That left Eugene Leonard wide open, and that you just can't do to a shooter like Eugene Leonard, to leave him wide open for an uncontested three.
Dodd to Borders. His shot is good, and Oxford wants a timeout. Tied up at 9 with 3:18 left here in the first quarter.
30-second timeout called by Coach Joel Van Meters. We get a look there at Jalen Borders, and just a nice run of the offense by Alexandria that time, as they did a nice job running the floor, finding Borders wide open in the paint. There's the good pass on the inside. A mismatch as you had Borders actually working on Eugene Leonard. Borders coming in at about 6'5". Leonard maybe 5'10", 5'11". They created that mismatch they wanted on the inside and got the easy basket.
Here you see Coach Jason Johnson of the Valley Cubs and Coach Joel Van Meter in the Oxford Yellow Jackets.
Well, we thought this would be a good, tight, typical Alexandria Oxford basketball game, and exactly what we have almost 5 minutes in, tied at 9.
Leonard jogs it up the floor now for the Yellow Jackets. Over to Foster. Back to Mack, back to Leonard. Three-pointer on the way this time is no good from Marquise Davis. And here comes Dalton Dodd the other way for the Valley Cubs. Dodd to Tucker. Over to Chafin this time. He'll dribble it out for the Cubs. Or back to Dodd. Long three from Dodd. No good. And there will be a foul whistle there against the Valley Cubs.
Getting very impressed with the skill set of Dalton Dodd. Not only a big, tall, rangy guy who obviously could go inside, but we've seen him drill the ball behind his back, run the floor, shoot the three. Had a good look at a three that time. A guy that could very easily play. He's a consummate three guard, it looks like to me, play that big guard, small forward position in college.
Davis gets it up. In the corner this time, down to Mack. He picks up two there to take the 11-9 lead for the Jackets.
Braden Max, fantastic job inside, creating position, creating separation between himself and the defender, and getting the easy basket.
Ball underneath, shot no good. Here he comes Foster the other way. Foster gets his shot pinned up against the backboard by Dodd, and a whistle will be blown, and a foul this time will be against.
I believe they called that on Landon Williams. Yep. It was actually 2 blocks in a row, because Dodd had the first block and he actually had the second block, but Williams, Dodd was standing behind Williams. Dodd got the block, but Williams got the foul with his body.
First free throw no good from number 0. We don't have a 0 on our roster.
Both of these teams are substituting frequently. These are deep benches as well for both Alexandria and for Oxford. Oxford bringing in a lot of great players. Number 5, Rock Taylor, back in the game. Also back in the game for Alexandria, Jake Wethington, the starting point guard. So a lot of subs here even in this first quarter.
Adam Young, the sophomore, up top for the Cubs, gets it down to Dye. He goes up, nothing. Williams with a rebound and the putback.
Good penetration that time by Dye. But wow, Williams cleaning up on the inside with a nice position and putback.
Taylor to Leonard. 3 on the way. No good. And Wethington brings it the other way. He lays it up. No good. foul that time.
Foul from behind. So again, only 2 team fouls whistled against Oxford already. 4 whistled against Alexandria here with a minute or so to go in the opening quarter, and tied once again at 11 as we take a look at Jason Johnson of the Valley Cubs.
Leonard's going to drive this time, goes up, lays it up and in.
Eugene Leonard going in there and challenging the big guy Williams. Great body control to somehow get that ball off, kiss it off the glass, and put it in. Your consummate point guard, Eugene Leonard of Oxford.
Wethington gets it off to Josh Tucker. Tucker to die.
Thing you notice about this Alexandria team, Chase, is they got a lot of guys that can handle the basketball. We probably have seen 6 guys playing on the outside, handling the ball. Guys that can play the point. Dalton Dodds played the point a little bit. Wethington's played the point. We've seen Romeo Dye at the point. Also coming in, Adam Young playing some point guard. A lot of ball handlers on this team.
Wethington goes up, lays it up and in there for the Cubs. Ties it up at 13 here with 20 seconds left in the first quarter. Davis hands it off there to Foster. Up top to Taylor. Back down to Davis. Taylor loses it. Ball loose. And Leonard has it up top to Davis. Davis drives, lays it up, no good. And that will do it for the first quarter. We are all tied up at 13 at the end of 1 between the Alexandria Valley Cubs and the Oxford Yellow Jackets here from the TV24 Holiday Showcase.
I got back my smack talk touchdown, hole-in-one, 3-point home run, hat trick, pavement pounding, record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up, and I certainly didn't give in. I'm gonna get back to doing what I love. I'm gonna get back to winning.
The 2017-18 entertainment lineup at the Oxford Performing Arts Center is the biggest, boldest, and brightest season yet. Join us for 4 amazing performance series, including the Edward Jones Legends series, featuring Rumors, a tribute to the music of Fleetwood Mac, Shadows of the 60s, Chicago tribute band Brass Transit, Seven Bridges, the Ultimate Eagles tribute, and the Hitmen. Season tickets are available now at the Oxford Performing Arts Center box office at oxfordpac.org or charged by phone by calling 256-241-3322.
Hi, my name is Reverend Jeffrey C. Williams, the owner and licensed funeral director of Anderson Funeral Services. At Anderson Funeral Services, we are compassionate and caring individuals committed to providing quality and professional service at affordable prices. We are where service begins and never ends, and love is what love does.
Aniston Funeral Services offers affordable services to meet any need for all families. Aniston Funeral Services, 630 South Wilmer Avenue, where service begins and never ends.
Wishing you the very best this holiday season. We hope your Christmas celebration is filled with good friends, loving family, and lots of love and laughter. Merry Christmas from everyone at Foodland in Alexandria.
Back, Alexandria and Oxford tied up at 13. There you see Alexandria coach Jason Johnson as we're getting quarter number 2 underway. Coach Johnson been on the sideline for a while there for the Valley Cubs. Oxford starting out on offense to start this second quarter. John Holder, Chase Robinson courtside here with you. Rock Taylor laying it up and in.
Nice give and go to Rock Taylor. Now some full court pressure out of the break being applied by Oxford. First time we've really seen the full court man-to-man pressure defense being applied by the Yellow Jackets as they come in with a fresh lineup. New into the game, DeMontre McClendon seeing his first action for Oxford coming in out of the break.
It'll be Oxford's basketball. Alexandria is stepping out of bounds. And Eugene Leonard will jog it up the court now. Leonard hands it off to Colby Warren. Warren up to Taylor. Over to McClendon. Davis to Leonard. 3 on the way. No good. Rebound there by McClendon. He'll make a move. He'll go up, but Dalton Dodge just takes it from him.
6'5", 6'6" guy on either side of him, and let's just put it this way. He's not that big. He's probably checking in at about 5'9", 5'10" on the inside.
Wethington in the corner. Back to Dodd, over to Tucker. In the corner to Davis.
Good defense by Oxford right now. Just no passing lanes open. No one open on the interior. Shutting off the outside as well. Good man-to-man defense.
Dodd drives in. He'll dribble it back out for the Cubs. Tucker back to Davis.
Just no one open. Just great defense by Oxford.
Wethington takes his shot at the three and knocks it down for the Cubs.
Wethington didn't need much. He got a little bit of a look at it. Top of the key, drained the three, and Alexandria back in the lead.
1 point lead for the Valley Cubs. Davis to Warren. Warren to McClendon in the corner to Leonard.
Both of these teams doing a good job of being very patient, running their offense, passing the ball.
Rock Taylor's shot no good, and Dalton Dodd taking it over the floor now for the Valley Cubs.
Both teams being very wise with their shot selections here. Very good shot selections, just not throwing up wild shots, being very patient, waiting for a good shot.
Dodd's jumper on the way, no good. Rebounded there by the Yellow Jackets. And it'll be Marquise Davis to pitch ahead to Eugene Leonard. He's going to take it all the way to the hole, and he is fouled. Count that bucket. And Leonard will go to the free throw line.
Fouled by Joshua Tucker. One thing Alexandria did that time that you can't do with Eugene Leonard, they kind of lost him there for a minute. No one came over until it was too late. Tucker had to come over and pick him up on that drive to the basket, but that began way back out beyond the free throw line at about the half court line. Actually, they just kind of lost where Leonard was. No one picked him up, and he drove all the way to the basket, and they had no choice but to foul him or giving up the easy layup.
Free throw no good as the Yellow Jackets hold the 1 point lead here. Dodd to Wethington. Down low. Borders shot no good. And a foul is whistled. And Borders will go to the line for a pair.
Good move by the freshman inside, or not the freshman, but good move by the transfer Borders inside, really using his body nicely. Watch this. Goes up, catches it with both hands, comes down, head fake the other way around, gets his own rebound, puts it back up, and is fouled. Just really good body movement by the big guy inside for Alexandria.
First free throw is good, ties it up at 17.
This game is every bit what we thought it would be, Chase. You and I were talking before the game. We thought this would be a very close matchup. We thought it would be very competitive, hard played. It's been a well-played basketball game, especially defensively. Both these defenses really turning it up a notch here tonight at the Coliseum.
McClendon to Davis to Leonard. Leonard's going to drive. The kick down to Taylor. He'll pick up the bucket, and he will go to the free throw line.
And again, the penetration inside, the dish off. Alexandria falling asleep a little bit on the defensive end that time. And another chance for a three-point opportunity for Oxford. Rock Taylor took advantage of Alexandria going to sleep, and he'll have a chance now to get a free throw and make another shot.
Dodd gets it for Alexandria. Taking it the other way. He'll pull it back out. Leonard wanted to steal there in the corner to Joseph Tucker. And Oxford takes it. Foster on the other end is going to drive. Goes up, nothing. And it will be Alexandria's ball.
Officials doing a good job. Baseline official says, I didn't get a good look at it. Ask the official on the outside, did you get a better look? Whose ball is it? Good communication by the officials there, making sure to get the right call and more full court man-to-man pressure by Oxford.
Romeo Dye in the backcourt. He's trapped. Gets it to Grayson Chafin. Chafin gets it across. And he will double dribble. And we'll have a Yellow Jacket ball.
And Chafin that time, he lost his footing there and stumbled a little bit, and in doing so came up with a double dribble. So one of the few turnovers we've seen in this game for either team.
Shadricks dribbles out of bounds. So it'll be Valley Cub basketball here. Full court press being applied by the Jackets.
As I say that, 2 turnovers in a row.
Ball goes in, and Taylor lays it up for the Jackets.
Make that 3 turnovers in a row. 2 of those go to Oxford, and they convert the last one into points. So we're going to have a foul called on Oxford.
Marquise Davis with a holding foul. As Wethington checks back into the game for Grayson Chafin.
Ever since Oxford came out of that timeout with his full court pressure defense, full court man-to-man press, it's been good to him. Creating some problems here for Alexandria. They're having problems getting the ball in. They may have to call a timeout. They barely get it in at the 4 count.
Wethington splits through 2 defenders, takes off the other way. Down low to Joseph Tucker, and he'll lay it up and in.
Tucker, his first points of the game, getting the garbage basket on an ice feed.
Foster drives, and he'll lay it off the glass and in for the Jackets, taking a 23-19 lead as Oxford. Wethington trapped in the corner again. He'll lose the ball in his dribble, and Simeon Shadricks takes the interception.
We'll say timeout called by Alexandria. Did it happen before the change of possession? I guess it did, so we'll see.
23-19 is Oxford's lead.
Just some clarification here from the officials. They gather together and talk about it. And they do give the timeout to Alexandria.
Our officiating crew tonight, Robert Howell, Kyle Chambers, and Philip Hollingsworth.
This is a very good officiating crew. These guys are as good as they come here in Northeast Alabama. And a good call by the officials. They see things that we don't see. People tend to forget sometimes these guys are the guys that are out there in the middle of the court. They're close to the action, and they see things that I don't care how close you're sitting in the court, you're not on the court. And they've done a great job. The officiating in all of these games here today has been outstanding.
Wethington gets it into Dodd. Dodd trapped in the corner. The pitch ahead to Dye. He's going to take off the other way. He goes up, no good. And here comes Warren the other way to Shadricks. 3-pointer on the way. No good. And that will be a foul whistled against Rock Taylor.
Rock Taylor coming over the back for the foul that time. Whistled against Oxford. So a flurry of activity here, but even after the timeout, the big takeaway is we see the replay here of the missed shot, and then you'll see Thomas coming over the back, or I should say Taylor coming over the back. The big thing I've noticed, even after the timeout, Alexandria is still having problems with this press by Oxford. Tenacious is the word. Full court, man-to-man press, and they have slapped it on tightly on Alexandria.
Wethington to Dye, up ahead to Williams, back to Dye. To Dodd. He'll dribble it back out with 3:10 left here in the first half, and a 23-19 lead for the Yellow Jackets. Joseph Tucker out to Dye, back to Dodd. Eugene Leonard on him tight.
2 great basketball players there. Leonard working on Dodd.
The pitch ahead to Foster. He's on the other end, and he'll lay it up and in.
Turnovers now a factor for Alexandria. Oxford turning those into points. We're going to have a reach-in foul. This one also may actually be on Rock Taylor.
And they'll call that one against Colby Warren. For Oxford, Adam Young, Drew Davis, and Josh Tucker check into the game now for the Valley Cubs.
Well, there's one thing about it. Joel Van Meter is not going to call off this press as long as it's giving Alexandria problems and creating turnovers and pressure. They're going to stay in it for a long time.
Davis is going to get through and across half court, and that will be Marquise Davis picking up the foul there, using the body.
Davis working on Davis. Marquise Davis banged into Drew Davis.
Seven fouls whistled against Oxford. So we're at the 1-and-1. Front half on the way for Drew Davis. No good. And Warren gets the rebound for the Yellow Jackets. Davis to Foster. He'll spot up, jump shot on the way, good.
Not much you can do about that. Williams was in his face. Davis just spotted up and nailed a long-range three.
Ball goes out off of Alexandria, so it'll be Oxford's ball.
Foster's three gives Oxford their biggest lead of the game now at 8 points, 27-19.
Eugene Leonard back in the action here for Warren. Leonard in the corner to Foster. Three-pointer on the way is good.
Foster with 2 huge threes in a row, and Oxford right now on a 13-2 run.
Davis has the ball with 2 minutes to go here in the first half. An 11-point lead for Oxford. Davis drives, goes up, gets a shot.
Nice penetration by Drew Davis. That ball was thrown straight up in the air and came down and didn't even hit the rim.
Long three for Leonard, no good. Taylor goes for the rebound, but the Cubs got it. Wethington dribbles it up for the Valley Cubs. He drives, sees a hole, goes up, good.
Wethington with an unbelievable move to the basket, reverse layup, and that's going to prompt a timeout by Joel Van Meter. Not happy with his defense that time as Alexandria responds. It was a 13-2 run by Oxford, but then Alexandria now with 4 straight points in a row. There's the play that prompted the timeout from Coach Van Meter.
30-23 here. Oxford lead. 1:31 left here in half number 1 of this one. Two county rivals here in basketball. And we've seen this game in the Calhoun County tournament on this floor, and always a fun one. And we are seeing that here. Coach Joel Van Meter and the Oxford Yellow Jackets.
Some of the greatest, most intense, packed houses I've ever seen in this Coliseum in the Calhoun County tournament. Some of the greatest games down through the years have been games between Oxford and Alexandria.
And the Yellow Jackets will be bringing the ball up. 1:30 left here in the first half. And a 7-point lead. McClendon to Foster. Three on the way. It rims out. Ball goes out. And it will be Alexandria's ball.
Foster was very close to having his 3rd 3 in a row. Nailed the first 2. That one just rimmed out. More full court pressure by the Yellow Jackets.
Wethington to Dodd to Young. Young, the errant pass goes out, so it'll be Oxford's ball.
You know, and that's the thing. It's not always on the front end of the court. Sometimes it's in the back end where the press pays off. And it's not always during the press. Sometimes you get so caught up in trying to break the press and the pressure that it creates where you really are, you're tired and you're not giving your best as far as the half-court game goes and not focused on that. So there's a lot of strong points to the press.
Under a minute to go here in the first half. Hoke to Warren to McClendon. Over to Taylor. Foster drives this time, and a foul called against McClendon. Illegal screen.
Call away from the basketball.
Wethington into Dodd, back to Wethington. He gets it across half court. He's going to drive, kicks it to Adam Young. Young drives in this time, and an offensive foul is called on Adam Young.
Young went into the air, was a little bit out of control, and really a good call there because Colby Warren was standing like a statue. Really nothing Young could do as he lost control of the basketball. Collided with Colby Warren, and that is a charging foul. And so now 39 seconds to go. Eugene Leonard comes back into the game, and we'll see here. Will Coach Joel Van Meter try to protect this 7-point lead and go for the last shot?
Warren jogs it up the floor for Oxford. Hands off to Leonard. Leonard to Foster. To McClendon, back to Leonard. McClendon in the corner, dribbles it out, and Leonard takes it back for the Jackets with 15 seconds left here in the first half.
Coach Van Meter indeed going to make sure his team is the last team that touches the ball before halftime.
5. McClendon with 2-1. McClendon goes up. Shot no good, and halftime buzzer rings. 30-23. The Oxford Yellow Jackets lead here at the halftime break. As Gerhard Mathangani is down courtside. Let's swing it down to Gerhard.
All right, Coach Johnson, this was a tight game early on, and Oxford kind of pulled out there to a 7-point lead. Assess this first half.
We just survived it, we was afraid it was going to stretch the thing to about 10 or 15, but we were able to hit some shots. Got to get a little bit better or be more efficient on offense at the end. Playing pretty good defense, but Oxford very quick, very athletic, make it very tough on you on defense. But we survived. It stayed within 10, so we're going to just make a few adjustments, see what we can do.
Back to your team, Coach. Coach Johnson, thank you very much. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Gerhard. And we will be back here at halftime. Oxford up 30-23 here at Pete Matthews Coliseum. TV24 Holiday Hoops Showcase presented by America's First Federal Credit Union.
The holidays are a great time to remodel your bath. Have you been thinking about a new shower, tub, or a walk-in tub? Or new cabinets? For a limited time, receive blowout holiday savings on your bathtub or shower remodel. And call in the next 10 minutes and receive a free handheld shower spa with your order. But you must call now. Max called us and said, "Terry, I need something safer to bathe in. I'm concerned about falling, and it's tough to step over this old tub rail and it's slippery in the bottom. I have no safety bars. I just need to find out, can I afford it?" After the transformation, he said, "Thanks, New Bath. I and my family are thrilled." Go to newbathalabama.com or call now for blowout savings and a free safety package. That's newbathalabama.com.
All the good guys at New Bath, a brand new bath, a brand new style.
Don't just dream it. Call Family Savings Credit Union. Right now, get something you want for as low as 2.24% APR. You can even apply online or by phone. Family Savings Credit Union, where your money grows with you and your family.
Season's greetings from Talladega Short Track. Get ready for the 27th Annual Ice Bowl Racing Championships, January 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. You don't want to miss this huge racing event. For more information, go to TalladegaShortTrack.com.
30-23 is the Oxford Yellow Jacket lead here at halftime of our final game here from the TV24 Holiday Showcase from here at Pete Matthews Coliseum. John Holder, Chase Robinson courtside here with you. Glad you're joining us for some high school basketball on this cold Saturday evening. And we have had two good games. We're in the third, and we have got a good first half, tight first half. But in the second quarter, Oxford really turned on the pressure and the heat, John.
And the heat is on here, literally in the arena and on the floor as well. We've had a lot of folks telling us, hey, our power's out. It's going down to 17 tonight, so we thought we would come up here to the Coliseum and watch some basketball and warm up a little bit. It's a warm place to go. And so if you want to do that for the second half, still about 30 or 45 more minutes of basketball here, come out and join us at the Coliseum. If not, snuggled in, if you have power watching us here on TV24, we welcome you in. It's been a great first half. This game was very tight, 17-17. And at one point in time, Oxford had a 13-2 run. It looked like they were going to take command of this game. But then, as you heard Jason Johnson, head coach of Alexandria, say, his team battled right back, cut it back down to single digits. And here we are, a 7-point game here at the half, Oxford in the lead.
Eugene Leonard been a big difference for Oxford, knocking down a couple of threes, able to drive it in himself also.
Yeah, I think that's the big key that we've seen in the game, particularly in that second quarter, was Oxford's ability on the offensive end to hit some big threes. Foster with 2 in a row that really kind of broke the game open during that big 13-2 run. And then defensively, and again, you heard Alexandria coach Jason Johnson telling Gerhard, and I think the big key of the game, the difference of the game is once they came out of that timeout there late in the first quarter with Oxford, Coach Joel Van Meter elected to go to a full court man-to-man pressure defense. When he did that, that gave Alexandria a lot of problems. Forced a timeout call by Coach Johnson, and they really haven't settled down yet to where they were in the first quarter, I feel like, running their offense, because there's been so much energy expended on trying to break that press. And that press has been very good to Oxford in the first half, creating some turnovers, some turmoil, kind of taking Alexandria out of their half-court game, and they've turned a lot of those turnovers into points. And I think that's the reason, the press, why they have this 7-point lead here at halftime.
And let's take a look at some highlights here from the first half. And Dalton Dodd there you see for Alexandria lined it up there in the first half, as well as Wethington there. 2 good shooting teams we have on the floor, like we talked about, as you're seeing in these highlights.
Yeah, and you see guys coming in off the benches. You see Foster coming in off the bench with a couple of big baskets, a couple of threes. These are 2 very deep teams. You know, we've seen some games here today where section, I think it was, only had like 8 players that they brought in. So, you know, we've seen some teams come in here to play today that didn't have a very deep bench. That is not the case with Alexandria or with Oxford. Both of these teams with very deep benches. We've seen both of these teams in the first half, Chase, probably playing, you know, 9, 10, 11 guys in the first half. So I don't think there's going to be an advantage for either team in the second half. Both teams should be fresh with all of the substitutions they've been making in this first half.
We sit here in our 3rd and final game of tonight. If you thought we had one more game like was scheduled, Gadsden City will not be playing tonight because of the snow, the weather, teams not traveling. We've changed it around. We ended up having 3 games, and we are in the 3rd and final game here of the TV24 Holiday Showcase, and it's a good one, so keep it right here as we are at halftime. 30-23 is Oxford's lead here. It is the TV24 Holiday Showcase presented by America's First Federal Credit Union.
Hey moms, you need something to haul your team in? Check out the crossovers at DriveTeam1.com. Equinox, Cherokee, RAV4, Santa Fe, and Rogue. DriveTeam1.com. What's in your driveway?
If your children are getting tired of the same old food, give them a hot piece of my Kentucky Fried Chicken and watch them smile. There's nothing like my chicken to start kids having a good time.
Get a bucket of chicken, licking good, have a barrel of fun. Goodbye, ho-hum, get Kentucky Fried Chicken. Come on, everyone. America loves what the Colonel cooks. $10 chicken share, bucket of fun.
Hello, I'm Chief Bill Partridge, Oxford Police Department. We have a simple saying here: lock it, hide it, keep it. Remember, lock your doors, hide your valuables, and you get to keep them. That way burglars can't see what's inside your vehicles, and as long as you lock them, your vehicle and your property will stay safe. Thank you.
Historic Banning Mills is the largest and longest zipline canopy adventure in the world. It's located in your own backyard near Carrollton, Georgia. Historic Banning Mills offers over 9 miles of courses, 52 sky bridges, and over 90 different zip lines, soaring at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour and up to 3,400 feet in length. Most everyone in the family can participate, even the little ones. If that's not enough, climb the Guinness World Record's tallest freestanding rock climbing wall at 14 stories high. Historic Banning Mills also offers horseback riding, kayaking, GPS adventures, birds of prey shows, and much more. So much that you can't fit it all in one day. So stay the night or the whole weekend at their Country Inn Lodge or rent a cabin. Don't take your family, friends, or company retreat just anywhere. Make it unforgettable at Historic Banning Mills.
During this magical holiday season, may your home be filled with love, peace, and hope for tomorrow as you celebrate Christmas with friends and family. Merry Christmas from John Christopher Salon, Highway 78 in Oxford.
Getting ready to start half number 2 here between the Alexandria Valley Cubs and the Oxford Yellow Jackets. And Oxford has that 30-23 lead as we sit here getting ready for half number 2. John Holder, Chase Robinson courtside here with you in our third and final game of the TV24 Holiday Hoop Showcase. The snow threw us for a little loop, John, but we are glad to be here bringing you these 3 games. Had a little power scare there in the first one, but we got it back and running, and here we are.
Well, we were very blessed that it didn't happen, the power outage at night. We had pretty good light in here. We had to call the games anyway for about 30 minutes, but we did have some auxiliary lighting in here. But certainly a better situation that happening in the afternoon instead of night. Thanks to Alabama Power Company for these guys out there working hard. Let me just tell you, there's upwards of 20,000 people, homes that have been without power here in just the eastern part of the state of Alabama, and they have been out in this cold weather working hard with this surprise snowstorm that came, trying to get the weather back on. And we've got a great second half coming up here between Alexandria and Oxford.
And the Valley Cubs will have the ball coming into half number 2. Drew Davis inbounds it into Jake Wethington. And Wethington will set up the offense there for the Valley Cubs. Wethington drives, kicks it out to Tucker. 3 on the way. No good. But a turnover there. Almost a turnover. Leonard gets it back for the Yellow Jackets. He's going to drive in. He goes up. Nothing. Rebound there, and the put back from Davis is no good. Dalton Dodd will get it for the Valley Cubs as Josh Tucker on the other end is limping around.
A stoppage in play because Tucker, there you see Joshua Tucker going off the court. There's his dad, Alexandria head football coach Frank Tucker, on the bench. And it's like he may just have a turned ankle there as he goes to sit on the end of the Valley Cub bench area.
Wethington will dribble it up the floor now for the Valley Cubs. Eugene Leonard on him. They'll switch. Davis down low this time. And is Williams picking up a bucket there for the Valley Cubs. Cuts it to a 5-point game.
Alexandria loves it when they can get into that half-court offense and work it into those big guys like they did that time. I think it's important for Alexandria to get off to a good start here in the third quarter, and that's a good beginning.
A nice dish down low, but nothing comes from it, and Alexandria takes off the other way. Wethington goes up. Shot no good. Ends up with the basketball, and will go out of bounds, so to go towards the Oxford Yellow Jackets.
Good hustle by Wethington that time as he came down the floor, put up kind of a wild shot, went out of bounds, came back in, got his own rebound, but then lost the handle on it again.
Leonard dribbles it up for the Yellow Jackets. To Rock Taylor, over to Davis in the corner to Foster. Down low this time to Mack, goes out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Oxford Yellow Jackets.
The big guys of the Valley Cubs have done a really good job on Braden Mack on the inside. Mack's got the ability, the big guy for Oxford, to take over the game, but the big guys inside have kind of neutralized him for the most part here in this game so far, early third quarter.
Foster fires up the 3 this time, no good. Dalton Dodd with the rebound. Dodd dribbles it up the floor for the Valley Cubs. The lob underneath, stolen away by Oxford. Here comes Leonard the other way. Leonard goes up, picks up the bucket there for the Jackets.
Leonard working on Dodd. Dodd trying not to foul him, just trying to disrupt him any way he can. But Leonard, nice drive to the basket and gets the basket. And here's Dodd on the other end. Dodd does the same thing, taking the ball coast to coast, and he draws the foul.
As we take a look at Eugene Leonard there, making a move, going up strong to the basket for the Yellow Jackets.
It's as good of a point guard as we have in our part of the state of Alabama in any classification, Eugene Leonard of Oxford.
And Mack sends Dodd's shot back. And on the other end, Foster, Smith shot, and Davis with the putback.
Nice follow-up by Marquise Davis. That's why coaches say on the fast break, keep running. You never know what's going to happen. Nice follow-up on the fast break. Got the miss and an easy putback.
Joseph Tucker on the other end makes a move, goes up, gets 2 points there.
Timeout going to be called by Alexandria's Jason Johnson, as Joseph Tucker, coming off the bench that time, just came into the game on the previous possession. Nice move to the basket, lost control previously, but good body control and put it up and in.
take a look at the replay there. Almost lost control, but he'll pick up the bucket there for the Valley Cubs. 34-27 is Oxford lead here with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Look at the Alexandria bench over there again, right where we started at the beginning of this quarter. Still a 7-point lead for Oxford at 34-27 after playing 2.5 minutes. I noticed that Coach Johnson was working the officials a little bit. Now Coach Tucker went down and worked on them a little bit. So some strategy there from the Oxford, or should say from the Alexandria coaching staff. So the Oxford bench over here. Coach Joel Van Meter trying to get a little bit more production out of that press. Even though they've maintained the 7-point lead, they haven't really had the success with the press here in the second half that they did in the first half.
So it'll be Oxford's basketball, and Marquise Davis will dribble it up now for the Yellow Jackets. Davis to Foster. The Yellow Jackets will continue to work it around up to Leonard. To Davis. Inside this time to Taylor. He goes up, nothing, and Dodd pulls down the rebound for the Cubs.
Alexandria doing a good job on the defensive end of making sure that Oxford only gets one shot. Good defensive rebounding by the Valley Cubs. Dodd with 3 or 4 big rebounds here in the third quarter.
Weathington's shot no good. Williams gets it back out to Joseph Tucker. His shot is off the iron and no good. Williams gets the rebound and a foul called, and that will be against Davis, and that will send Williams to the line for 2.
Landon Williams, the 9th grader in there, battling in with the big boys, and he is really asserting his influence here in quarter number 3. Really taking over on the inside, becoming a force for the Valley Cubs. Challenging a lot of shots in there, banging around, making free throws, doing a great job for Alexandria here in quarter 3.
Second is good. So a 5-point game. Oxford still in control here. 4:38 left in the third quarter. And Leonard will dribble it up now for Oxford.
Jalen Borders back into the game, replacing Williams for the Valley Cubs.
Taylor takes a step in, back to Leonard. To Shaddricks. To Foster. Foster drives, jump shot on the way, no good. Hoke with the rebound.
Alexandria in this third quarter, they're getting every defensive board. No second shots that they are allowing Oxford here in this corner. They are wiping the glass on the defensive end.
Ponder to Young, and Leonard gets it to Mack. He goes up, picks up the bucket there for the Yellow Jackets, makes it 36-29. Dodd on the other end. Foul. We'll go to the line for 2, and that is Eugene Leonard picking up the foul.
See what, I'm impressed by the athleticism of Dalton Dodd. Look at him, the big guy running the floor, getting fouled. Braden Mack on the other end for Oxford, another big guy that showed his athleticism running the floor, getting that last basket for Oxford. So these are not only big but athletic guys that can run the floor and can handle the basketball for both of these teams.
Down at the line here. Good. Makes it 36-31. Leonard to Mack. To Warren. Back to Taylor. Leonard's going to drive this time. In the corner to Foster. Foster to Taylor. Jumper on the way. Good.
Taylor, nice 8-foot jumper. They found him open, no one on him, and he nailed it. Nice shot from inside the middle of the paint by Rock Taylor.
Weathington's going to dribble it up for the Valley Cubs. He's going to drive in, and an offensive foul is called on Jake Weathington.
We've got Eugene Leonard down. Leonard comes up. I think he's going to have to come out of the game. Holding his throat, it looks like, as he goes out. So he may have taken the brunt of that collision right into his throat area. It looks like he'll be okay. Gives a fist bump there to Coach Joel Van Meter. So it looks like he'll be back in the game in just a second.
Catch his breath a minute, and he'll be back out here. He is the heart and soul of this Oxford Yellow Jacket basketball team.
No question about that. Replacing him in the game will be DeMontre McClendon. Played some in the first half. First action in the second half. McClendon with some pretty good playing time there in first and second quarter for Oxford.
Warren to Mack. Mack's going to drive in this time. Goes up, nothing.
Mack with another timely shot for Oxford. They squeeze this thing back to a 9-point lead.
Williams to Dodd. Dodd goes up. And that will be Foster with the foul that time.
So almost called a travel, but decided after everything was said and done that it was a foul. And again, a good job by the big guy Dalton Dodd of running the floor that time.
Dodd hits the first one. He'll have one more up ahead, and Leonard back into the game here.
Leonard was itching to get back in the game. Almost immediately when he came out, he was standing on the end of the bench, just dying to get back in the game.
Drew Davis checks back into the game for Jalen Borders of the Valley Cubs. Grayson Chafin also in the game.
Yeah, it's like Alexandria going to apply a little pressure here.
Warren gets it across half court for the Yellow Jackets. Hand off to McClendon. To Mack. To Leonard. Leonard drives in. And he is fouled that time by Dalton Dodd.
Leonard just an amazing skill set. Such quickness and speed. Great ball handler, great shooter.
Leonard drives in. His shot is no good, and Dalton Dodd with the rebound.
Dalton Dodd is getting just about every defensive rebound for Alexandria. Just very few second opportunities for Oxford because Dodd is wiping the glass on that defensive end.
Dodd down to Williams. He lays it up and in.
That's what they've been looking for numerous times, trying to lob it in there to Williams. Williams has been double teamed many times, but that time they got the one-on-one they wanted. That was the matchup, and he was able to bang it home.
5-point game, 40-35. His Oxford leads here with 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. As Dalton Dodd will pick up a foul. The bucket no good. That foul will be on the floor.
And from a speed standpoint, that matchup between Dodd and Leonard is one that Leonard's going to win every time. He's just got such a quick first step there and going to the basket. So we're saying they lined up for free throws, and now we're saying there is none. Right now they're showing 4 team fouls against Oxford, 3 against Alexandria. It depends on whether the call was on the floor, and they are going to change this and say it was on the floor before the shot. So instead of free throws, it's going to be Alexandria, I should say Oxford, with the basketball.
Leonard into Warren, and he's going to step out of bounds. This is going to be Alexandria's ball.
That was a big sequence of events there for Oxford. They thought they were going to have the chance to score points at the free throw line. Instead, they turned it over and wind up getting nothing.
Chafin will inbound the ball for the Valley Cubs. Into Dalton Dodd. He almost loses it. Ball is on the floor. And Alexandria gets the timeout.
Alexandria going to take a 30-second timeout. Pretty good usage of a timeout. I think that was an important possession for Alexandria to retain the basketball. Got a little momentum here to the Valley Cubs. And have to cut it down to 5 points with 1:53 to go here in the third. It's been a pretty entertaining and competitive basketball game, I would say, Chase.
Absolutely. 5-point game here in the third quarter. We knew this was going to be a good one between Alexandria and Oxford here at the TV24 Holiday Showcase. Third and final game of the day.
I will be surprised if this game doesn't come right down to the wire. It's been a 5-point game, 5 to 7-point game pretty much from late first quarter, early second quarter all the way in. We don't think that's going to change.
Dodd's going to travel, and that'll give Oxford the ball back right in front of their bench.
It's a crucial turnover by Alexandria right there, giving Oxford the ball right back.
McClendon to inbound. Into Leonard. To Taylor in the corner to McClendon. Back outside is Eugene Leonard to Taylor. And Taylor will travel that time.
Excellent call by the official. He took that step before he ever put the ball on the ground. And now the last 2 or 3 possessions have been the battle of missed opportunities. A couple of missed opportunities by Oxford and by Alexandria.
Dodd to Dye. Dye across to Tucker. Tucker takes it across. He's going to drive in, dumps it down to Williams, and an offensive foul called against Joseph Tucker.
After Tucker dished it off, he was out of control, and player control foul whistled against Tucker. Look at Eugene Leonard. That is all Eugene Leonard. Nothing really that Tucker could do. Leonard saw him coming down the paint and said, I'm going to take it.
Technical foul whistled against Frank Tucker, the assistant coach of Alexandria. So Oxford will get a couple of shots.
Eugene Leonard, going back to the play though, Eugene Leonard, what an effort over there, because you know in that situation, Chase, when you got a guy like Tucker who's coming down that lane full speed and you decide to step over there, you know it's going to hurt. You know you're going to wind up on the floor. It's going to be a big lick. It's going to be really 2 collisions, because you're going to take the full brunt of that player and you're going to take that full brunt of that floor. And to step over there and do that for your team, that's a very unselfish play by Eugene Leonard. But look how it paid off, because you get the free throws, the basketball, and now Oxford with a 7-point lead and a chance to maybe go up by double digits here.
Minute 23 left here in the third quarter. And Leonard will cross half court. Over to Foster. Down low to Mack. He's going to turn around, goes up, but Dodd says no thanks, and he'll take the ball up the court now for Alexandria. Dodd to Dye. Williams trying to get open down low, but Braden Mack all over him. And back out to Dodd. Under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Davis in the corner to Tucker. 3 on the way, no good. And it will go off the hand of Braden Mack. So it's going to stay with Alexandria.
Mack and really Davis on the inside, and Taylor, all those guys on the inside for Oxford having some problems with that 9th grader Landon Williams. He is asserting himself physically on the inside.
Davis into Tucker. Tucker to Wethington. He's going to lay it up and in.
Nice pass by Joseph Tucker. Saw Wethington flashing down the lane. Nice bounce pass and an easy layup for the Valley Cubs.
Leonard down to Mack. Dodd sends that one back. Ball loose. Foster gets it for Oxford, puts up the shot, no good. And they'll get it back out to Leonard with 15 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
Leonard didn't pay off, but Leonard had a nice wraparound pass, as pretty as you're going to see on the interior on that drive to begin that flurry.
Leonard drives, goes up, no good. 2 seconds left. Dodd throws one up, and that will do it for quarter number 3. The Oxford Yellow Jackets hold a 42-37 lead over the Alexandria Valley Cubs. We're going to have an entertaining fourth quarter coming up next here on TV24.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
Okay, it'll be just a second.
Wait. With a new checking account, it takes like 5 to 7 business days to get a debit card. It's 2014. Nobody waits 5 to 7 days for anything. I mean, I got things to do. Am I supposed to go home and sit in a dark room for 5 to 7 business days? This is...
Here you go.
Unbelievable.
Enjoy the magic of the Christmas season with a family visit to Christmas at the Falls at Nakalula Falls Park in Gadsden. The whole family will love the festive lights and pageantry of the holiday season. Visit the petting zoo, ride the train, decorate your own Christmas cookies, and spend some time with Santa himself. Christmas at the Falls is open nightly through December 23rd, then December 26th through 30th. Tickets are $6 and available at the gate starting at 4 p.m. each evening or anytime online at NakalulaFallsPark.com.
Back here at Jacksonville State University, the final quarter here between the Oxford Yellow Jackets and the Alexandria Valley Cubs. 42-37 is Oxford's lead here. John Holder, Chase Robinson courtside here with you. As we begin quarter number 4, the final one here between these two Calhoun County teams. And Oxford has it to start the 4th quarter. Eugene Leonard hands off to Foster. Foster to Taylor. Taylor drives, and it will go out, and it's going to stay with Oxford.
Well, again, the Williams on the inside. We talked about him earlier, how the 3rd quarter really asserting himself physically inside. He's dominating on the inside right now for Alexandria.
Leonard back up top for Oxford. He's going to drive in this time. Goes up. His shot good.
1-on-3, Eugene Leonard. 3 white jerseys, 1 black jersey, and he still gets the basket.
Weathington drives in. His shot on the other end good.
Same thing on the other end. Weathington going in on 3 black jerseys and laying it up and in.
And Leonard will carry the ball.
Leonard that time saw an opening again, trying to do the same thing. Lost control of the basketball, wound up carrying it. So a turnover, 5-point game. Alexandria just hasn't been able to cut that under 5 yet. They've been down to 5. It's been as much as 9, but they have been really between 5 and 9 points the whole game. But now they cut it to 3. Another penetration by Davis.
Drew Davis picking up the bucket. 44-41 is Oxford's lead here. Just about a minute into the 4th quarter. Leonard is going to drive, goes up. And that will send Leonard to the free throw line. That foul will be whistled against Williams, I believe.
I think so. That will be the 16th foul whistled against Alexandria. So Oxford will be in the bonus the rest of the way for this last 6:59. Only 14 fouls whistled against Oxford. Eugene Leonard, to be honest with you, Alexandria just has not had an answer for him, and I think it's the quickness. His move to the basket, it's just phenomenal. That first move, that first burst is just really tough to stop.
46-41 Oxford's lead now. Don takes it in the middle. Cross court to Weathington. Back across court to Don. He'll take a few steps in. Fire up a 3 this time. No good, and Mack gets the rebound and the pitch ahead to Leonard. Lynn drives in. An offensive foul called against Eugene Leonard.
That time, Mr. Davis, Drew Davis, stepping in there, decided he's going to do what we've seen Eugene Leonard do in the past and take that hard foul, and paid off. But now full court pressure defense again by Oxford.
Davis inbounds it into Adam Young. Young, the sophomore, dribbles it up. And it goes up or out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Valley Cubs.
Just sort of have the feeling in this game, Chase, that one of these teams in the next 2 or 3 minutes is really going to take control of this basketball game. It's the feeling I've got. We'll see which one does it here in the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Young takes it to the corner. He drives in this time, goes up strong, count the bucket. And Adam Young will go to the free throw line. Chance at the old-fashioned three-point play.
Penetration has been the key today. Both of these guards, all of these guards, both for Alexandria and for Oxford, both teams, really creating a lot of opportunities off penetration. And now Oxford seeing their lead dwindle to 3. It might go to 2 here as Alexandria has kind of been chipping away here in the second half. No real big runs, but just kind of chipping away. They were going back and forth from 7 to 9, then to 5 to 7, and now from 3 to 5, but the numbers get smaller for Alexandria.
3-point Oxford lead, 6:10 left here in this one. Leonard holding it out. No Valley Cubs on him. He gets it over to Foster. The long 3 on the way. No good. Oxford has it. Ball loose. Who's going to get it? Ball goes out, and it's going to be Oxford's ball.
6 players, 6 of the 10 players were on the floor. When we talk about Oxford versus Alexandria basketball, that is what it's like right there. Watch this replay. 1, 2, 3. Here's 4. There's 5. There's 6 players that wind up on the floor for both teams trying to get that basketball. That's how much this game means to these two Calhoun County rivals.
5:53 left here in a 3-point Oxford lead. The Yellow Jackets have the ball as Leonard walks it up. Leonard drives, goes up, he's fouled. Eugene Leonard will go back to the free throw line for a pair.
Leonard just quicker than anybody Alexandria has. Just the speed, just to that initial burst that we talk about. There's just very few high school guys that are quick enough to get over there and cut that off.
Getting the moisture off the floor underneath the basket there.
A hard-fought, well-played basketball game by both of these teams. Been very enjoyable to watch. And the best may be yet to come. Still 5:43 to go in this game.
First free throw is off the mark there for Leonard.
Getting to that point of the game now where every free throw, every point, every possession is going to be crucial.
One more up ahead for Leonard. And it is good. Makes it a 4-point Oxford lead here with 5:43 left. Dodd to Davis. Still in the backcourt. Davis looking for some help. And the ball's going to go out of bounds. This could be Oxford ball.
I think that internal clock was running there with Drew Davis, and I think he just was trying to get the ball into the front court and avoid that 10-second call, just hoping one of his teammates would track it down. They didn't, and it's a turnover.
Eugene Leonard now gets it across half court for Oxford. Leonard spots up for the 3. No good. Wethington gets it. He takes off the other way for Alexandria. Wethington drives, goes up. Count the bucket. Wethington, he's going to go to the free throw line for 1.
That may be the most incredible play we've seen in this game by any player. Look at Wethington right here. Jake Wethington moving down the paint, up and under, and somehow got that ball to fall and draws the foul at the same time. Just an incredible move to the basket by Jake Wethington of the Alexandria Valley Cubs.
And the free throw is up and good. We got a 1-point game, John. 47-46. Oxford with 5:14 left.
If Alexandria comes back and wins this game, that play by Jake Wethington might be the play of the game right there. A 4-point lead, and then goes back in with that incredible move to the basket and completes that 3-point play to cut it to 1. This is as close as Alexandria has been since the first quarter.
Davis to Foster. He's going to drive. Pulls up. Back to Davis. 3 on the way. No good. Dodd pulls down the rebound for the Valley Cubs. To Tucker. He loses it. Warren gets it to Davis. Davis to Foster. Foster drives. Goes up. 2 points good.
Too easy. Foster that time uncontested going to the basket. Oxford back up by 3 as we approach the halfway mark in the fourth quarter.
Tucker to Dodd. Dodd drives, goes up and lays one up and in. Back to a 1-point game here, and Jason Johnson calls the timeout with 4:27 left here in this basketball game.
This will be a full timeout, and we will expect the marquee players. If there's a marquee player for Oxford, it really is Eugene Leonard. And for Alexandria, it's Dalton Dodd. And Dodd along the baseline making the move. And when it gets late in the game, that's who you look for. You look for the marquee players. And Dodd making his presence known with that move to the basket to cut the lead back down to 1. As we mentioned, 4:27 to go here in quarter number 4. Chase Robinson, this is as close as Alexandria has been since the first quarter of this game.
It has. They have really done an incredible job here in this second half, fighting their way back, keeping themselves in it. And you know, Coach Johnson was happy at halftime. It was under a 10-point game, and now he's got it to a 1-point game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not been a big run. A lot of times you'll see teams we saw in the last game. We saw, you know, Talladega had big runs in the first half, but then Plainview comes back in the second half with some big runs. This has not been a game of big runs really by either team here. It's just been Alexandria kind of chipping away. It was 9 at one point in the third quarter, then down to 7, stayed there for a while, then down to 5, then down to 3. Now Alexandria has very slowly and methodically over the last quarter and a half cut what was a 7-point lead down to just 1.
4:27 left. Oxford will have the ball and the length of the floor to go here. Alexandria with 1 timeout left. Oxford with 3 timeouts there with 4:20 left here. Warren brings it down for the Yellow Jackets. Up to Davis. Davis to Taylor, back to Foster. Taylor drives. 3-pointer on the way, no good. And Davis will put it back up and in.
Davis with the garbage basket, and they got a basket without Eugene Leonard being in the game. Leonard was sitting on the basket. We'll see here. There's the shot. Off, no good. Alexandria had the rebound briefly, but Davis does a nice job of grabbing that garbage ball and putting it back up and in. Now, I think Alexandria had a great timeout from Jason Johnson to kind of talk about this last half of the game. I think Joel Van Meter just did the same thing, calling a full timeout. Going to get Eugene Leonard back in the game. He gave Leonard a bit of a rest. I think that was a smart idea to keep Leonard fresh for this last 4 minutes of the game. He's going to come back in the game. Oxford was able to score without Leonard being in the game. And so they're back to the 3-point lead and Leonard coming back in.
4:03 left here in this one here from the TV24 Holiday Showcase, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. Good crowd on hand tonight here at Pete Matthews Coliseum. A good steady crowd all afternoon.
Yeah, you know, looking across the way from us, there's a handful of fans sitting across, but behind us, both the Alexandria and the Oxford fans decided to sit really on the same side, because behind us it's pretty packed over on the I guess this will be the south end of the Coliseum.
Alexandria has the basketball and the length of the floor to go. Oxford with a full court press. Drew Davis to inbound, gets it into Dodd. Dodd back to Davis. Davis being guarded by Davis. To Wethington. And they have got to get it across, and they do not get it across in time, and Oxford will have it now.
That was one of those that kind of sneaks up on you. They're not under a lot of intense pressure. They were just taking their time, and that internal clock. We talk about quarterbacks in football having an internal clock before they get sacked. You know, the guards have got to have that internal clock. You got to be thinking 8, 9, 10. Am I getting close to that? And kind of snuck up on the Valley Cubs that time, and it's a turnover.
Davis gets it into Eugene Leonard. Leonard to Davis. Davis drives back to Taylor. Taylor drives in to Leonard. He's going to take his turn driving in this time, and he lays it up and in.
Eugene Leonard just about unstoppable on that play. Another penetration basket, now a steal.
Braden Mack gets it that time as the whistle blows. A foul called against the Valley Cubs.
As we said, Eugene Leonard out of that timeout back into the game. There's the foul going to be called. Any number of 3 Valley Cub players could have been whistled for that. A chance now for Oxford to move this thing back out to where they've been most of this game. It's been pretty much a 7-point game from the second quarter on.
Braden Mack's free throw, no good. Dodd works it up the floor for the Valley Cubs, still in the backcourt. He'll cross half court this time, trapped as soon as he gets across, and that gives it to Wethington. To Tucker, the three on the way, no good. And Braden Mack comes down with a rebound. And he'll get it to Eugene Leonard. And a foul called there. Drew Davis picks up the push foul.
An incredible rebounding effort, though, by Braden Mack on the other end. Mack fell to the floor just to keep his balance and get rid of the basketball without traveling. An incredible athletic move by Braden Mack. And here's Eugene Leonard with a chance to score more points for Oxford.
First free throw good there for Leonard. Makes it 54-48. Second, no good. Dalton Dodd gets it back to the Cubs. Cross to Adam Young. The pitch ahead to Wethington. Wethington goes baseline, drives in traffic to Dodd. Three on the way, good.
Your marquee players, we talked about it, Chase. Eugene Leonard doing it for Oxford. Dalton Dodd doing it for Alexandria.
Marquise Davis three-pointer off the front of the iron, and Wethington gets the rebound for the Valley Cubs. Wethington drives, and a foul call, and that will be on the floor.
Alexandria has been whistled for 9 team fouls, so Oxford in the double bonus the rest of the way for those last 2:37. That was the 8th team foul whistled against Oxford, so still single bonus, 1-1 for the rest of the way for
front half. Good, makes it a 2-point Oxford lead
for Oxford. That's free throws will be very important going down the stretch here. Alexandria a chance to cut it back to 1.
Second free throw, good. 1-point game. 2:35 left. Leonard's going to dribble it up the court for Oxford. He'll walk it up and slow things down. Over to Davis. Davis to Taylor. Over to Leonard.
Got to think at some point that Eugene Leonard's going to penetrate.
Davis to Leonard. He'll dribble it back out with 2:12 left. Taylor sets the screen. Leonard pulls up. Jumper on the way. No good. Ball's going to go out of bounds off of Rock Taylor's hand. And it will be Alexandria's basketball and a full court press by Oxford. Couple of trips down. They couldn't get it across. They will this time. 2-on-1. Dodd drives, and an offensive foul is called
on Dalton Dodd. Working on it. Looked like Eugene Leonard was the one that wound up on the floor. Look at Leonard take this charge again. Another great call by the officials, and another great effort by Eugene Leonard. Leonard only about 5'10" or 5'11", the big 6'5". Dalton Dodd comes in there full blast again, just like the last charge he took. You knew it was going to be a situation where you're going to take a big collision both ways, both from the player and from the floor. And that is the kind of game-winning basketball that it takes from your point guard. And Eugene Leonard that time doing the job again for the Oxford Yellow Jackets.
Leonard walks it across half court. Sets up the Oxford offense. To Braden Mack. Mack up top to Davis. In the corner to Foster. Down low this time to Taylor, and he lays it up and in. A 3-point 56-53 lead for the Yellow Jackets at 1:30 left. Wethington dribbles it out for Alexandria. Wethington drives this time, goes up, gets a bucket.
Timeout going to be called by Alexandria. They've cut it down to 1 again. We thought this was going to be a close game down to the wire the last minute. Look at all the traffic right there. Bodies colliding, gets the ball up and in. 56-55. Oxford with a lead, and this is exactly what we thought was going to happen, coming right down to the very last second here at the Coliseum.
We've got a good one here in our final game of the TV24 Holiday Showcase here. 1-point game and 1:15 left. John Holder, Chase Robinson, courtside here with you in this game. And John, we saw Oxford take a 7-point lead going into the halftime break, but you kind of had a feel Alexandria was going to keep themselves in this one.
Alexandria just keeps chipping away, and this game could go either way now. Obviously 56-55. You know, it seems like a long way away because we have Christmas and we have New Year's and we have national football playoff games and things like that coming. But, you know, the Calhoun County tournament starts in about 6 weeks. And this is you want to talk about whetting your appetite for the county tournament, because would you love to see this matchup again in the Calhoun County basketball tournament? I think a lot of folks watching this game tonight are thinking, man, I'd love for these two to play each other again, and it could very easily happen in the county tournament at some point.
Oxford will have the basketball. As Leonard dribbles it up. Over to Davis. Davis to Taylor, over to Eugene Leonard. Under a minute to go. Leonard's going to dribble out near half court to Mack. Mack's going to drive in this time, goes up. His shot is good. 48 seconds left. Dodd takes it. Gets it to Wethington. He crosses half court. 3-point lead for Oxford. The drive. And Oxford gets it, but Drew Davis gets it back underneath. Shot up, count the bucket. And Williams goes to the line and has a chance to tie it all up.
Eugene Leonard was there again trying to take the charge, but he got there too late this time. His feet were still moving. Great call by the officials. Williams with a mismatch on the inside. The big guy on the small guy. Big guy won that one. A chance to tie this thing up.
And we do. We're all tied up at 58 with 33 seconds left. And we got a good one here as Eugene Leonard's going to walk it up. Wethington's going to meet him right at half court. 25 seconds left.
Should I mention overtime? It's a possibility.
Very good possibility here. Taylor, they're going to wait for the last shot. 15 seconds left. Taylor holding it up top. Taylor's going to drive this time. Goes up. Shot good.
Timeout, Oxford.
7 seconds left, and the Oxford Yellow Jackets have a 60-58 lead over the Alexandria Valley Cubs, and a full timeout called by Oxford. And this is a tough situation for Alexandria. You're going to have the length of the floor to go, and against a tough Oxford press.
Plenty of time, though, 7.9. So basically, you got 8 seconds left. So you get the ball in. You don't have to have a three. A three would win it, but a 2-point play still gets you to overtime. So we'll see what Jason Johnson and the Valley Cubs come up with here. Last possession, somebody needed to step over in that situation and try to at least take the charge there. Nobody really cut off the move to the basket. Oxford gets the basket, makes it count. 60-58. What a great high school basketball game. You know, both of these teams got a late start because of football. Not a lot of these guys. Some of these guys, probably more guys from Alexandria play football than on the Oxford end, but they do have guys from both teams that play a little football there. And early in the season, to see teams, they look like they're in mid-season form to me. This is really a well-played basketball game today.
7.9 seconds left. 60-58 is Oxford's lead. Alexandria will have the basketball. Dalton Dodd takes it, and Oxford's going to meet him in a half-court trap. 4 seconds left. Dodd pulls up. Long three. No good. And the Oxford Yellow Jackets will take down the Alexandria Valley Cubs in a great high school basketball game. 60-58 is the final.
Well, they had the ball in the hands of the guy they wanted, the guy that brings you to the dance, so to speak, is Dalton Dodd. And Dodd was going to try for the game winner here at the end, but probably a little bit out of his range from beyond not only the three-point arc, but way beyond even the timeline there. Came up a little bit short. Gerhard Mathangani spoke with Jason Johnson at the half, and he'll speak with Oxford head coach Joel Van Meter in just a moment.
Great night of high school basketball, really, in all three games, and a good one to finish off the night here. As we go down to Gerhard Mathangani with Coach Joel Van Meter.
All right, Coach, you really had to grind this one out. We'll start with the end of the game. Talk about being able to put the ball there in the young guy's hand and him making a play there.
Well, he's a player, no doubt about that. And we saw how they were guarding. We knew that he could probably drive his man. We got lucky that they followed out to the backside with him, and he just drove it, made a play. Just players making plays.
You've obviously had a lot of time in this gym with the county tournament, with this deal, and obviously with the regionals as well. Talk about the way your team played here in this gym and being able to get the experience a couple months removed from that regional.
You know, I thought it's always great to get in here and get a chance to play because of the county tournament, because of the regional tournament. You know, I don't think we played our best. I think the majority of that has to do with Alexandria. They've got a great team. They're big. They guard you just the right way. You think you're open, but they're able to contest. They can rebound the basketball. But it was good for us. You know, it was good to be able to get out today and play because we got canceled yesterday. So it's always fun to get in here and play a good competitive game. And obviously, when you don't play your best, you're happy to win the game.
Assess where your team is as we stand here in December. I know you want to get hot late, every team does, but as you stand in these first few weeks of the season, where's your team stand?
At times, we're really good. At times, we look like a regional team. And then there are other times where, you know, we're not overly experienced. I don't want to say young because we're not that young, but we're not overly experienced. So we've got to get better in situations where, you know, we might have a 7-point lead and we take a bad shot and all of a sudden they come down and it turns to a 4-point lead. And those are the possessions that ends up killing us. We don't have a bunch of them, but we got to get better at them.
Always enjoy watching your team play, Coach. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you down the road. That's Coach Joel Van Meter and the Oxford Yellow Jackets coming away with a good win over a really good Alexandria ball club.
And thank you, Gerhard. And what we had 7 games scheduled for today because of the weather moved down to 3. But John Holder, we saw 3 great high school basketball games.
Hey, I'm ready for the Calhoun County basketball tournament. We'll have the semifinals and finals again right here on TV24. I'll be surprised if you don't know how the brackets and seeding are going to be. That's still out there. But I'm not going to be surprised, according to how the brackets go, if we see these two teams meet again in the county tournament. I'm ready for that right now. I'd love to see that again. This was a great high school basketball game tonight. Everything you would expect in an Oxford-Alexandria high school basketball game, we had it here.
Absolutely. We had a great time bringing you all 3 of these games. We thank you very much for joining us here at Pete Matthews Coliseum. Thanks to all of our hardworking crew tonight. For Mickey Shaddricks, Gerhard Mathangani, John Holder, I'm Chase Robinson saying so long. Be safe out there.
A long time ago, Colonel Sanders created KFC's original recipe fried chicken with its blend of 11 herbs and spices. So when it comes to fried chicken, nobody beats the original Colonel. Not even Norm Macdonald, who just wears makeup to look like the Colonel. You look great, by the way. You're great. The original Colonel's original recipe. Get it in a $10 chicken share at KFC.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99 and then bring it in for free refills throughout the year. That's right, free popcorn for a full year. Your locally owned and operated Grub Mart, in business for over 75 years.
Starting college wasn't easy. My dad was laid off, we were low on money, I didn't have a car. Even getting to class was a struggle. But I persevered. I enrolled at Gadsden State, studied hard, and went after my dream of being a high school math teacher. I won awards for my grades, tutored other students, finished my degree at Gadsden State, and got a scholarship to a 4-year university. Gadsden State changed everything for me. Now it's your turn to change your life. Visit gadsdenstate.edu today.
May the warmth and love of the holiday season fill your heart and your home. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Dunn's Heating and Cooling.